Woo! My computer just almost fell down. Hi everyone, and welcome back to my 365 days from eating disorder to recovery. It is super hot in here, so excuse me if there is a lot of background noise, but let's roll with it. This is what I ate exactly 1 year ago. And a screenshot. I have the courage to do good things for myself. And so I took that screenshot because it was in terms of recovery for me. Like, good things for me are recovery, and it takes courage to do good things because the easy way is always flowing and going with the eating disorder, but in the long term, this is what is going to take away all of your life. So on that day, I actually had a chocolate and ice cream. You can see that it is quite dense, very creamy. It's not like I just bulked it up with like ice cubes or something. I can easily imagine myself having limitless abundance. And of course that was not easy for me at that point, but these were like affirmations that really spoke to me. Like, limitless abundance is what we want to train and rewire our brain to think that kind of way. So this is a post from a nutritionist, or like also a doctor here in Germany, and her program basically is about intuitive eating, and she's saying it is scientifically, there's scientific evidence that the whole weighing your food and counting your calories and restricting does not work long term. And it's just something that I did not want to wrap my head around. I had such a hard time wrapping my head around because my head was so entrenched in the eating disorder. I was like, well, yes, I mean, we have been living like this for 20 years, but is it actually serving my life? No, it's taking away from my life, and it's not allowing me to live the life that I potentially could live. And so that's why I made all these changes throughout all of this year, or that year, like last year, which I'm showing you. So I guess, I don't know if this is another ice cream or if I just put popcorn on top. Had this rye bread thing with margarine. That was a big step for me. And then also Nutella, not vegan. Then also some cheese. I think it's microwaved, because I wanted it to melt. Doesn't look too appetizing, but that was a big deal for me. And also things like having it early in the day really freaked my eating disorder brain out. These are stinging nettles. This is a huge no-go. This is so much quasi recovery still that I was in there, even though I was eating the chocolate, the Nutella and everything, and the margarine and or butter or whatever, but I still had this kind of thing that I thought I need to get in my micronutrients so that I can trust my body. I was not trusting my body that it is fine to only eat processed foods. That was the problem here. If you're not familiar with her, follow Flow with Chloe also on YouTube, and also here on Instagram, because she helped me a lot to let go of the vegan restriction thing in terms of beating my eating disorder, like really, really going into real recovery. I was always an ethical vegan, but the thing is, also with eating disorder, motivations, and that was the big problem. And this, you can read through this yourself here. Her contents just, in general, really helped me to let go of a lot of things. That was just one example. Raisin or cinnamon bread and with avocado and a latte here. What I really would have wanted there is, butter on that bread. I also put cinnamon on there, but so I actually was craving like cake and like something really buttery, cinnamony, sugary. And I mean, and also I actually ate these leftovers from David, which is also a big thing, because I never used to be able to just be spontaneous and say, well, I'm just gonna eat this now because I see it and I want it and I crave it, and so I'm just gonna have it. These were things that I started practicing here. I wanted to say to that cinnamon roll thing, it was not 100% what I actually wanted, right? That's just what I wanted to point out. Another nice cream, chocolate nice cream, looks super yummy. I would have that any day. Sorry if I look like I'm sweating, it's because I am. It is super hot here. I am committed to myself. You know, being committed to yourself does not mean that you want to do the things that you know you have to do in every second. It just means that you do them no matter what. I am creating the life I deserve to live. And you know, you really have to get down into the nitty-gritty and really analyze, like, what is it that I want to deserve in life, and then how do I create that life? By recovery, I am exactly where I am supposed to be. Yeah, I mean, I had to struggle so much with like resentment and how I lost so many years due to the eating disorder. Yeah. I'm worthy of love, abundance, success, happiness, and fulfillment. Being worthy of these things, like all of these things, like abundance, love, success, happiness, and fulfillment, all came with me doing real recovery. And what you see here in these videos now, at this point, is not real recovery yet, but the steps towards there. I choose love over fear, which is basically recovery, because everything, the motivation behind eating disordered actions is always fear. Fear of weight gain, fear of calories. Another bread, like another bun with Nutella, and what was the other one? I don't know. Broccoli, because I thought I needed the micronutrients. Chocolate, white chocolate, I usually had the whole bar. Yeah, and then raisin bread again. I mean, this was a huge step for me, guys. The problem is I was still tracking calories and still kind of fitting it into the 2,500 minimum calorie guidelines, which is not how you're supposed to deal with it. The more I give, the richer I become. That was also a concept that I kind of started to befriend myself with at that time, because I was so scared of not having enough. The scarcity mindset just trickled in all areas of my life, basically, not only into the eating disorder aspect, like not only into the eating and food aspect of my life. This looks so yum, and also, you know, it's with cacao. I was still pretty afraid of cacao there because I used to be so sensitive to it. Now I know it was only because, you know, it was only during the times that I was not eating enough that I was so hypersensitive to stimulants like cacao, or also a little bit of coffee or whatever. I'm never sensitive to it now, that I just eat a lot and enough, and according to all of my mental and physical hunger, which there at that point I still thought, well, maybe, you know, the cacao is just really toxic for me or whatever, but no, it was not the cacao's fault. Okay. Then the crisps, yeah, I mean, that's a big deal for me, but these were weighed out. Big no-no. In re-recovery, it took me to take the whole bag, eat out of the bag as much as I want, not measure or portion it out. That is so key. Only then you can call it real recovery and eating according to your mental hunger. Trust your body. It's like something forced me to eat something that I'm not even hungry or craving or want that taste. What is that? This will of course be different for Eliza. Early on in the process, I wouldn't worry about what is causing you to want to eat. Physically, mental, and emotional reasons are all good. Just keep eating, especially the things you are afraid to eat, and you'll make progress. That was just something I needed to hear at that point, because I was still over analyzing my hunger so much. Like, I was questioning it all the time, even though I made so many opposite actions at so many times during the day and made so much progress. I was still questioning it all of the time, and that's just something I really had to let go as soon as possible. This is a yeast coffee cake, and I also had avocado there. This is with poppy seeds. I love that. Also lit a candle because I didn't used to do that before, because I was saving on all kinds of resources, and candle is a resource that we cannot use, which is total nonsense. But yeah, the eating disorder makes you think in such a way. I also wanted butter on that yeast cake. Did not have it there. This is like a butter baguette. I think it was a vegan one, because we usually only buy those. And then this bar of chocolates. The problem with that, okay, so this is a little bit graphic now. I am sorry if this offends you, but hear me out. I was actually experimenting with hydrogen peroxide as a mouthwash there, and sorry for the bell. I was experimenting with it because I was still experiencing these receding gums. And I hoped that would help, so that they are not so sensitive anymore. The problem is, I took it to the extreme, which people with eating disorders are known for, right? And I was not out of my eating disorder there yet. Like, these were only the steps towards my recovery. Now I'm on the other side. Not there yet, but on the other side. And so this is actually a reaction when you overuse hydrogen peroxide, long story short. And I thought it's because I'm eating junk food. That's what it all boils down to. And I thought it must be from something that I'm eating. No. So thankfully I found that out, that was not the case. And I did not change anything about how I kept challenging myself, but my brain was always like focused so much on, oh, it must be something that we're doing wrong, something that we're doing in an unhealthy way and stuff. There was something I wanted to talk about before, but yeah, I lost it there. So this is another nice cream with berries, I think like cherries or something, and then also soy milk. That was also another thing that I was so afraid of doing for such a long time, adding things like sporadically or just spontaneously, because I think, oh, that sounds good, I think that fits to my meal right now, or snack. Like, I don't even label it anymore, but like whatever I'm eating, it sounds, oh yeah, now I remember what I wanted to say. With this chocolate bar that you saw before, and then also with this cake and this chocolate thing and all of the few foods that I challenged there, the problem with this, what you don't see in the video, in the photos, is that I was kind of estimating the calories, and I was still tracking calories, and I kind of made it fit into my minimum calorie thing that I treated as a maximum, which is huge red flag, right? So this was a screenshot, breakfast goals, and this was actually also what I really craved as the perfect breakfast at that time. Sign of mental hunger when you're taking these kind of screenshots. Are you guilty as well? I'm not doing that anymore, so that's really nice. I'm glad people are starting to realize how unhealthy the bodybuilding industry is. I'm 34 years old. I have a broken back right now. I'm engaged and cannot have sex or use the bathroom right. You can read through this all. Isn't that crazy? I just want to say, like, I also had a back injury once because I did too intense strength training. It's just like, it's not alwaways good, especially when you're under resourced, especially when you're in a calorie deficit and when you're under eating, which is basically all of that is the same. And I just had to learn to really cut back on intensity and also take a break of all kinds of movements for quite a while. yeah, I was there. This was not the time for me to eat oatmeal, actually, because I usually ate it because it felt safer than other things. Also, like this watermelon and carrot, I ate this because it felt safer and healthier. And now I don't do that because, like, it doesn't feel any safer or healthier than any other food for me. Like if I eat oatmeal or a carrot or watermelon, and it might not sound like a huge difference for you, but that makes all the difference. Like, you cannot say, well, okay, in social occasions I will allow myself to have some cake in a restaurant, or maybe also some non-vegan thing or whatever. No, like, you have to only you can know if you get a panic or a fear response to something, if it's hard for you to do it for yourself or not. Yeah, this was a carrot juice. Getting in, these were my daily micronutrients, which was a problem. I forgive myself and let go of my mistakes. The recovery, or approaching real recovery, also really had to, for me, had a lot to do with forgiving myself, because I just couldn't cope with the fact that I lost so much of my life. I opened the door for something better. And yes, choosing recovery is opening the door for something better and moving on. My heart knows the way better than my mind. Tuning in, trusting your body, trusting your heart, trusting your soul, like seeing health as it is, as a holistic thing of body, mind, and soul, and not only physical. This was a very, very, very good pizza that I had there. It's so crazy because I can still remember how it tasted. Like, I know this was special in comparison to others. And it's because these were events that my brain just stored, because these were such pivotal moments. Also, lit a candle there again. These small actions really took a lot and changed a lot. And these things rewired so much. They started the rewiring there. Also, like having oats with actual plant milk and a lot of nut butter there. Yeah. For everyone who doesn't know me yet, so she's telling her story, that she was, normal weight, and then she gained weight, and then she wanted to lose weight, and then she slipped into anorexia. And then she claims she got out of anorexia 1 year later, or 1 to 2 years later, and says she's now struggling again with binge eating, with binges and depression. And I just want to remind you that binge eating and anorexia, binge eating usually, it wouldn't exist if there wasn't a restriction. And so anorexia and other restrictive eating disorders, binge eating is also kind of a restrictive eating disorder in that sense, and it has a lot in common with anorexia, and many people are not aware of that. And so the treating binge eating is more often than not the same way as treating things like anorexia, which is not practiced that way in the medical field, that's for sure. Which, yeah, is a big problem, because restriction is restriction and leads to food fixation and binges and just, yeah. Okay, so exercise checklist, monthly menstrual cycle. You can read through all of these. You have to be able to check off all of those in order for you to know that your exercise routine, or however you call it, or whatever you exercise, is healthy for you. If you cannot check off all of these, it's not healthy for you and you should stop it. And that's also what she's saying here now, if you can't check these things off, then you most likely should not be exercising and need to take a break to build up your metabolism. Yes, because if you cannot check these off, it is a sign that your metabolism is adapted downwards. Because it's just like, well, yes, you're exercising and that takes energy and your body expends that energy because otherwise you could not execute that exercise, but it's actually in a state where it takes away from essential or the least essential, from more essential tasks in the body, in the system. But it takes from those that are the least essential, if that makes sense, like the least vital. For example, like hair, growing hair, the menstrual cycle, and all of these things that are actually listed here. You can read through them again. And so then exercise is actually not healthy for you, and healthier for you would be, in that case, to actually take a break from exercise. Okay, that's it for today. I hope this video helped you. If so, please don't forget to give this a thumbs up, share it with a friend, and I will see you next video. Bye. And also, don't forget to connect with me in the comments. I love to read from you.